Okay, a couple other questions that have come in. Candace asked, some companies have decided to allow employees to work remotely permanently. How will this affect recruiting and retaining talent for companies that don't do so? So, it's going to be competitive out there. There will be some people that want to go full-time back in the office, but probably more that like this hybrid now. So, what are you guys hearing about retention strategies there?
I think, the full-time remote employees, I actually think that's a somewhat smaller segment of the workforce, right? I mean, as I've heard from companies, if they've surveyed their employees, again, employees want more flexibility, but mostly they want some form of hybrid, where they have that opportunity to be in the office, but also have the flexibility to work at home, let's say 4 days, a week. I think on the polls, the employees that really want to come back in full time, employees that want to work remotely full time, that's a smaller segment, currently. So, I'm not sure that every company out there needs to be offering, half of their workforce full-time remote work, options. But at the same time, I do think that companies that don't provide, flexibility or as much flexibility as their competitors. I mean, to Becca's earlier point, right? I mean, I think employees do value it. It is going to be a differentiator for companies that offer it. And I think that companies that aren't offering, let's say, what their competitors are in terms of flexibility, may find themselves losing out, talent, particularly those employees that really place a high value for one reason or another on that flexibility piece. And I would highlight, some work we did a number of years back. We asked employees at a company that had a very large remote work population with a fair segment of employees that worked at home almost full time. And we asked them, like, why do they prefer that work arrangement? And certainly caregiving and the things we would often think of showed up in the survey. But the biggest factor for many employees was just pragmatic reasons, saving, an hour back and forth in commute time, reducing costs associated with commute or having to have business attire, et cetera. So for many employees, it's just a kind of lifestyle choice as much as it is, work, family, and other issues that we often, think about that lead to that preference.
One other thing that did come up, and this doesn't address the latter part of what Brad said, but for those employees where the issue is, work family issues. So we talked about, I have to drop the kids off at school. I have to, I want to go to my child's activities in the afternoon. Even those companies that either can't or don't want to offer a regular hybrid or remote work option. In one of the conversations, we talked about having more flexibility on the beginning and the end of the workday. So even if it is that you're working in the office, and this is obviously a sort of a simpler approach or a simpler solution, but just giving a little more flexibility in terms of the start time and end time if you're not willing to give flexibility in terms of working from home once or twice a week.